Congratulations. Let's get started. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Well, good evening. I'm Sandra Archibald, Dean of the Daniel J. Evans School of Public Affairs, and thank you for joining us this evening. I want to welcome our graduates, fellows, families, friends, and distinguished guests to the 2015 Evans School Convocation. We're especially pleased to welcome this year's speaker, the Honorable Daniel J. Evans, whose name we proudly share. Governor Evans is the gold standard of elected officials and a dedicated public servant. Earlier this year, the Washington State Legislature celebrated the 50th anniversary of his governorship. We are honored to have you join us this evening, Governor Evans. We also welcome members of our advisory board. Please join me in recognizing our advisory board chair, John Herster, and his wife, Carol, Governor Evans, former State of Washington First Lady, Nancy Bell Evans, Ann Pride, Colleen Willoughby, Nancy Remack and her husband, Ben, Neil McReynolds, Paul Rucker, and Richard Zace. They give us outstanding support to our school. And I know members of the Denny Alumni Council are here as well, so thank you for joining us. I also would like to recognize and thanks to the Evans School community of faculty and staff, and especially to our student and school leadership team. The Evans School benefits from a smart and resourceful staff who guide our graduates through their studies and support our faculty with dedication and kindness and keen intellect. In addition to our distinguished guest, I am joined on the stage by our truly exceptional faculty who have spent countless hours with our graduates during their course of study at the Evans School. As a result of their internationally recognized scholarship and excellence in teaching, the Evans School is a highly competitive program with a strong national reputation, ranked 4th among public institutions and 9th overall in the United States. Our faculty work tirelessly to provide a high-quality education for our students, and they deserve our gratitude. I want to ask all of the faculty joining us this evening to stand so we can acknowledge you. Graduates and fellows, while I know you have individually taken the opportunity to do so already, this is dangerous, but I'm going to ask you all to stand and turn around and publicly thank your family and friends who've supported you during your time at the Evans School. So please stand up, say thank you. Thank you very much. Can you please be seated? Thank you. Graduates, this evening is an opportunity to celebrate your hard work, to acknowledge your outstanding contributions, and challenge you to live up to the high standards set by our alumni who are charting the future of public service. I'm proud to serve as Dean of the Evans School, particularly so this year, which has been another distinguishing year for us, in large part due to the efforts of this outstanding group of students before us. You are a superlative class of graduates. By the numbers, you are at the top of the very best policy programs in your academic qualifications. To date, you are also the largest graduating class we've had the honor to work with. And you come from more than 30 US states and many countries. It's a highly diverse group. Executive MPAs, you're our 11th cohort of our nationally acclaimed and innovative Executive MPA program. We continue to be impressed by the work you are accomplishing and professional development in public and nonprofit agencies. We look forward to seeing how you will use your newfound Evans School skills to further enhance your contributions to our community. This evening, we honor 3 of you who are receiving the PhD in Public Policy and Management. You are joining an elite group of scholars conducting research and teaching around the world. We expect you to be leaders in defining the field of public policy and governance in the future. And to you, our Hubert Humphrey Fellows, you have been a spectacular group of international leaders, and we're pleased to have you for the last more than quarter century join us every year. Graduates, your hard work has paid off. You have held some of the most prestigious internships available in the UN Development Program in Geneva, the US Department of State, and the State Washington Office of the Governor. You've also volunteered in unpaid internships with important nonprofit and philanthropic agencies for which we are all grateful. Many of you have already secured extraordinary employment as project coordinators, management analysts, and research analysts in government agencies, including the U.S. Government Accountability Office, the State of Washington Treasurer's Office, King County. You're working in social entrepreneurship in philanthropic organizations across the globe. This list includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Philanthropy Northwest, GiveWell, World Vision, the American Red Cross, just to name a few. I hope your parents and friends are proud of their accomplishments. You are a class of leaders. As we've come to expect, the Evans School has had its share this year of White House Presidential Management Fellows. At home, our Evans Student Organization has led our students to expand their role in shared governance and spurred the school to put diversity goals higher on the school's agenda. In addition to enthusiastically participating in all of our school events and adventures, including bowling, the school picnic, auction, and talent show, you've exhibited great initiative to promote the Evans School values of diversity, respect, and collaboration, as well as to advance our school's mission to serve our communities with civil discourse. Through numerous engagement activities, you've created dialogue on important topics with leaders across the public, private, and nonprofit sector. You raised more money this year in this year's talent show and auction than any previous Evans School class, allowing us to preserve and memorialize the walnut tree that was in front of Parrington Hall, which will be made into a bench for students to enjoy for many years to come. You've promoted scholarship and evidence-based policy, coordinating a successful student research symposium with pertinent topics, including reducing food waste and an analysis of campaign regulatory reform. And you published yet another edition of the Evans School Review, which has become a nationally distributed policy research journal, entirely student-produced, which is now attracting contributors from across the country. It's our hope that you appreciate not just what you've learned in the classroom, but also the experiential learning opportunities we pride ourselves in providing to help you apply your policy, management, and research skills. Over this past year, you had the opportunity to work with faculty on applied research problems in our deep dive experiences and in our public service clinics. You participated in a study making recommendations to the Governmental Accounting Standards Board and on emissions trading, as well as direct borrowing programs. You prepared an analysis for the Seattle city leaders recommending means to reduce educational achievement gaps in our city schools. Through the public service clinics, I knew I would do that. It's a prop, don't worry. You prepared an analysis for city leaders recommending means to reduce the achievement gaps. And through the service clinics, you worked on management and policy issues for the EPA Region 10, Seattle City Light, the City of Burien, and the Nonprofit Housing Consortium. You've advised numerous nonprofit and philanthropic agencies. All in all, I list these because our region has gained enormously from your 90,000 hours of service to our community over this past year. Your intelligence and drive have certainly already produced some outstanding accomplishments. And now you have the opportunity and the responsibility to follow in the footsteps of half a century of high-achieving Evans School alumni, including mayors, elected officials, social entrepreneurs, nonprofit executives, and dedicated and effective community volunteers. You came here with strong public service values, along with a passion for righting the wrongs of society, for helping those who need the most help, for strengthening government's capacity, and for creating innovation in the way philanthropies and nonprofits do their work. You've already demonstrated your capacity for using your Evans School education to help you achieve your aspirational goals. You are ready to shape policy, shape governance, shape our communities, and shape our future. We know you will do so collaboratively with integrity, compassion, and respect. It's our belief that you can always tell an Evans School alum. You simply look for someone who has a genuine interest in others, a keen sense of the politics of doing, an openness to change, a tolerance for ambiguity, the ability to collaborate successfully, and a fierce commitment to the efficient and effective use of scarce public dollars. This is who you are, class of 2015. You are now forever branded as an Evans School alum. Now you are prepared to handle the challenges facing our society and innovate for change around the world. I'm confident you will be great leaders and change makers. We expect nothing less of our Evans School alumni. Thank you and congratulations. I can't leave yet. It's my pleasure to introduce Lisa Mikesell, the 2014-15 Evans School Student Organization President, who will give this year's MPA student address. Faculty enjoy watching students blossom, and it has been my pleasure working with Lisa and watching her grow in her leadership role over this past year. Lisa, would you please join us? Watch the back.
Okay. Thank you, Sandy. And welcome, fellow graduates, family, friends, professors, alumni, staff, Governor Dan and Nancy Evans, and everyone else that is celebrating with us here today. It's been a very, very long road for most of us to get here. Seriously, most of us had 12 years of primary and secondary school, 4 years of undergraduate education, and now 2 years of master's education. That's 18 years. Our education is old enough to vote. And as we're gathered here today, I remember meeting many of you for the first time at welcome happy hours and orientation picnic. We were all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I was bald-headed at the time. And in those first days, I was astounded at the intelligence and the experience and the passion that everyone I met was bringing to public service. I was overwhelmed and intimidated by the sheer level of awesomeness that in our cohort, but I soon found that I was not alone. When we received our Olmsted assignment, and I felt like a deer staring blankly into the headlights, I started talking with my fellow students, and I found out that many of you felt the exact same way. And together, we tackled those Olmsted projects. We tackled those policy analyses and those stats exams. That first year, whenever somebody needed help on homework, all they had to do was head down to the dungeon and find another classmate. That level of sharing and mutual aid and support permeates everything about our cohort and about Evans as a whole. This was really made crystal clear to me when I was speaking with admitted students about 2 months ago. They asked me what I loved best about the program. I told them that when I came in, I was expecting top-notch academics, which I certainly got thanks to our esteemed faculty. And I was also expecting to tap into a fantastic alumni network, which has absolutely been the case. But what I wasn't expecting was this intense sense of community, of what we've sometimes jokingly call Evans family. We've been through classes and group projects together, through sleepless nights and hair loss. I mean, I've gained a whole bunch, but I'm the exception to the rule here. But we've also been through with each other through marriages, divorces, illnesses, births, all of the things that life throws at us. It's a community that I feel so blessed to be a part of, and it has been truly an honor to serve as your president this year. I can't wait to see what all of you smart, talented, dedicated, amazing people accomplish in your careers. So thank you, Dean Archibald, for your continued outstanding leadership. And thank you to our esteemed faculty for teaching and mentoring us for these past few years. Thank you to all of the Evans School staff for all of your help and support. And thank you to our friends and family that are here today for your support and understanding through all of our various nervous breakdowns. We couldn't have made it without you. So, thank you very much. And I now welcome to the stage Kendrick Stewart to give the executive MPA student address.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. We're all dressed up in here, hot. Good evening. Again, my name is Kendrick Stewart, representing the 11th cohort of the Executive Public Administration Master Program. I first want to thank and recognize fellow cohort member Paula Hoffman, who is providing ASL interpretation for my portion of tonight's event. So thank you again, Paula. And I regretfully want to call your attention to an empty seat that's in the front row. We started this program and finished with 3 fewer than we started. One of those losses was a tragedy. Carrie McGill was a mother, she was a member of our cohort, and she was also a faculty member, or staff member rather, of the school's nursing program. Please join me in a very brief moment of silent reflection for Carrie. Thank you. On behalf of Cohort 11, I want to thank the support system, our family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, for helping us through this process. Without your assistance, without your support, without your flexibility, we literally would not be able to be here. So thank you for helping us. And equally, I want to thank also the faculty and staff of the program for, number one, just providing a phenomenal curriculum for us. It was insightful, it was innovative, it was just amazing. So being there for us when we had tears that needed some drying, when we had complaints that needed an ear to hear, thank you so much for walking us through this process. We really appreciate you, and equally would not be here without your support. And also for what I call really the lesson within the lesson. Because it was an actual cohort, it was amazing how you were able to put this very different, random group of folks together. And I'm talking about diversity, not only in race, but diversity in ability levels, diversity as far as what we're representing, whether it be public, private, nonprofit, military, retired in general. We had the full mix. You slam together this very different group of folks. And in addition to the actual coursework, I think the real learning for us was that bonding that we did socially. So that's my challenge for all of us. Now, don't get me wrong, we didn't walk away from it best friends. We don't get together once a month and cook s'mores and tell stories. Although, Kirsten, that sounds kind of cool. You might want to get on planning that. But we did see the extreme value in not only hearing different opinions, but holding on to those different opinions and different ways of actually processing. We've all grown because of that. So that's my challenge to all of us, not only those of us who are graduating tonight, but everyone who is ear and earshot, that as we are becoming members of this global society, that we take the time, since ultimately, just like the cohort, we're all trapped here together. So it's best that we learn each other while we're here. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you, Kendrick, and thank you, Lisa. We're truly honored this evening to have Governor Daniel J. Evans as our keynote speaker. Governor Evans has held many distinguished positions, including Washington State Legislator, Washington Governor, U.S. Senator, College President, and UW Regent, just to name a few. These roles, however, are only the beginning of Governor Evans' contributions to our state. The governor's decades of committed public service embody the principles of a courageous leader. His legacy includes remarkable accomplishments in the fields of governance, civil rights, public and higher education, the environment, transportation, and human services delivery. He continues to inspire generations of students and young professionals to enter public service and become skilled leaders in their own right. Governor Evans, in person and by example, encourages us all to span boundaries across disciplines and sectors, just as he spanned the boundaries between members of divergent political parties and interests. True to his engineering roots, he has been a builder of bridges. Together with his wife, Nancy Bell Evans, the governor demonstrates the importance of selfless public service. To honor them, we are dedicating our school to educating new generations of leaders in the public interest with the skills and vision to transform our society. To honor the governor's unprecedented service to the state of Washington, the university, our nation, the University of Washington Board of Regents voted unanimously in 1999 to change the name of the Graduate School of Public Affairs to the Daniel J. Evans School of Public Affairs. 3 years ago, on Daniel J. Evans Day at the University of Washington, Governor Evans was the recipient of the highest honor bestowed upon a graduate of the University of Washington, the Alumnus Summa Laude Dignatus Award. And now, as we transition to the Daniel J. Evans School of Public Policy and Governance, we remain committed to the challenge to embody the legacy of our namesake. I am proud to introduce Governor Daniel J. Evans.
Thank you, Sandy, for those overly generous words. Usually the recipient of words like that is lying out in front of you and can't hear them. But I'm delighted to still be standing. You know, convocation speakers are the last barrier between you and receiving your diplomas. So you'll be ecstatic to know that my remarks are short. This will be the last graduating class of the Daniel J. Evans School of Public Affairs. On July 1st, we will become the Daniel J. Evans School of Public Policy and Governance. Now, I'm happy because that name more accurately describes our purpose. And I was always ambivalent about that old name, since I really felt that affairs ought to be private rather than public. You graduate tonight from a school that is bigger, better, more responsive, and more highly regarded than at any time in its 53-year history. I'm glad to be here to share this occasion with you. In fact, at 89, I'm glad to be anywhere. My first words are directed to the Humphrey Fellows. You have joined us for the past year from many nations across the world. You brought your experience and your traditions to us, and we hope that you will return home enriched by your study here and with new knowledge that will advance your careers. We will now have new Husky alums in Argentina, Chile, Costa Rica, India, Namibia, Pakistan, Papua New Guinea, Senegal, and Trinidad and Tobago. Congratulations to you all. And now to all of you who graduate today. You leave the University of Washington and the Evans School armed with new knowledge gained from your studies. Now you will seek power to use that knowledge for the benefit of society. And knowledge and power are a remarkable duo. But power without knowledge is dangerous. A colleague of mine in the state legislature many years ago was a business agent for the Electrical Workers Union, and he claimed his favorite tool for union organizing was this. He probably should have been hired by the Mariners. Now that's power, but it requires little knowledge. But knowledge without power is frustrating. I served in the United States Senate and found that there were 3 elements of power: seniority, being in the majority, and having good ideas. In that order. As a very junior senator in the minority, my prospects and proposals were usually ignored. At one point, I introduced a bill that I thought was useful and not even particularly partisan. That bill languished in committee with no hearings scheduled and gradually gathered dust. After several weeks, I discovered to my astonishment another bill, absolutely identical in wording, but this time introduced by a senior senator of the majority party. That bill rocketed through committee and was shortly adopted unanimously by the full Senate. Now that was frustration, but I did remember the old slogan, "It's amazing what you can get done if you don't care who gets the credit." But knowledge with power can truly be transformational. Early in my first term as governor, I celebrated with legislative leaders the close of a highly successful session of the legislature. Almost immediately, I received a phone call from the superintendent of public instruction telling me that there had been a terrible budgetary error on school appropriations and that we needed a special session of the legislature to correct it. Well, I scheduled a meeting, and shortly a squadron of budget analysts, followed by the superintendent, came into my office. They presented their figures, and I saw what I thought was an error in their calculations. Now, I reached down in my drawer and brought out, if I can get it out, a slide rule. Now, a slide rule is a marvelous device invented more than 3 centuries ago. It calculates mathematical equations and was used by engineers clear up to the advent of modern computers. And I sat there, did a few calculations as they watched in stunned silence. I laid the slide rule down and said, "I believe you have an error in your calculations." They protested mightily, but I suggested they go back and check their figures. The next day, I received a sheepish call from the superintendent saying, "Yes, we made an error. There is no need for a special session." As you can guess, that story went viral, and I never used the slide rule again. Now, occasionally during vigorous budget debates, I would pull it out of my drawer and just wave it. That would generally end the debate. So knowledge with power is transformational, and it always helps if there's something mystical about the power. In reality, knowledge is power, and unleashing that power in public service depends on building effective teams and not worrying about who gets the credit for success. Politically, when working on issues, Be prepared to cross the political aisle rather than crossing the people. You know, I've never seen a liberal salmon or a conservative highway, a Republican park, or a Democratic high school, but I have seen many examples of outstanding bipartisan legislation. And a few years ago, I was asked to define leadership in 3 words. That's a tough task. Try it sometime. I thought for some time and responded, knowledge, passion, and respect. Knowledge is required for leadership, but knowledge without passion is an empty shell. And passion without knowledge is dangerous, sometimes extremely so. Respect as a part of leadership isn't confined to just respecting those to whom you report, but also your co-workers and those who report to you. Respect should extend even to those who oppose your views. Remember, they believe what they believe as you do. Don't give up your basic philosophy, but don't confuse issue differences with philosophy. A few years ago, university leadership, as part of necessary budget cutbacks, proposed to consolidate the Evans School with some other unnamed unit of the university. They weren't sure where, they just didn't think we should be independent. Faced with a challenge to independence and continued growth, the entire school reacted, both with passion and with knowledge. And when a town meeting was called by the president regarding cutbacks, the hall was jammed to capacity by concerned members of the university community. A third of the audience were students wearing identical Evans School T-shirts. They asked respectful and important questions of the president, prepared detailed analyses, met with President Wise later to challenge the concept of consolidation, and I want them on my side in a fight. Faculty advised an aroused student body and voted unanimously to support the new challenges of continued independence. Staff members worked huge overtime hours preparing proposed budgets and new concepts for the school. Alumni and volunteers made hundreds of contacts, and Dean Archibald led with vigor and wisdom. It was an extraordinary team effort. Students learned well, faculty taught well, staff worked well, volunteers responded well, and Dean Archibald led well. It is a great example of leadership through knowledge, passion, and respect. And I am still proud to wear the Evans School T-shirt worn by those great students who did so much to preserve this school. Now leave here with the knowledge you have gained, find a cause you can embrace with passion, and create the respect that will build true leadership. Have fun, and now go out and save the world.
Thank you, Governor Evans, for your inspiring address. We have a lot to live up to keep your name in our forefront, and we have been very fortunate to have your guidance. Each year, we honor a select group of faculty and students at Convocation. I would like to present the Dean's Distinguished Teaching Award, which I give every year, to a member of the faculty whose teaching exemplifies the highest aims of the Evans School. And this year's winner of this Distinguished Teaching Award is Professor Stephen B. Page. Professor Page has been a consistently high-performing faculty member and teacher and innovator in our curriculum across all of our degree programs. It's remarkable, his accomplishments. We made the award to him at the picnic this last week because he, along with several other members of our faculty, are in Minneapolis at the Public Management Research Association conference. So let's give Professor Page a hand for this accomplishment. It is my pleasure to welcome Associate Dean Joaquin Herranz, who will present the student awards to members of the 2015 graduating class. Professor Herranz.
Thank you, Dean Archibald. Good evening. It is my pleasure to present awards to some of our top students. Each year for their final course on leadership and legacy, our executive MPA students write a case study based upon their own professional experience. It is with distinct pleasure that I announce this year's Outstanding Case Study Award recipients. Eduardo Jose Campos. Congratulations.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Eduardo's case was public-private partnership to foster economic growth in emerging markets, challenges and opportunities of implementing a multi-stakeholder model. The next recipient is Kathryn Dean. Kathryn's case was starting from scratch, creating land use policy for legalized marijuana in Jefferson County, Washington. Executive MPA students reflect upon a management issue or leadership challenge from their career, thinking critically about the lessons learned and practical skills and tools gained during their time at the Evans School. Our winners' case studies dealt deftly with challenging leadership and management situations. Congratulations again, Jose and Kathryn. Next, the Betty Jane Narver Prize for a capstone project of outstanding merit is presented to an MPA student or student team with a most outstanding capstone project related to public or community service undertaken as part of the public service clinics. For more than a decade, public service clinics have linked the skills of second-year MPA students with the real-world needs of nonprofit and public agencies. By producing program evaluations, strategic plans, policy analyses, and designing innovative programs, our students have improved the quality, efficiency, and effectiveness of hundreds of governmental and nonprofit services and programs throughout our region. This year, the Betty J. Narver Prize goes to Vicki Clark and Jennifer Malley. Their project was titled Opportunities to Improve Long-Term Bicycle Parking in Seattle's Center City for Commute Seattle. Congratulations, Vicki and Jennifer. The next award is the Public Service Clinic's Team Prize, which is presented to a team that produces an outstanding public service clinics project and demonstrated exceptional teamwork. This year's Public Service Clinics Team Prize goes to Kathryn Jacoby and Sophie Probsting. Their project, Do You Feel Safe in Seattle? Creating an evaluation tool for Seattle's Metropolitan Improvement District. Congratulations, Kathryn and Sophie. The Robert H. Peely Prize goes to the best capstone project, given in honor of Professor Robert Peely. This year, for the first time, we honor an original teaching case and teaching note. The Robert H. Peely Prize goes to Alexandra Wakeman-Rouse. Alex's project was titled Community Engagement for Organizational Change, Planning for a Sustainable Future for the City of Seattle's Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute. Congratulations, Alex. Our final student award of the evening is the Daniel J. Evans Award for Outstanding Leadership, which is given to a graduating student who has had a record of innovative leadership and public service during their time at the Evans School. Governor Daniel J. Evans will present the certificate. This year, I am pleased to present the Daniel J. Evans Award to Gloris Estrella. During her studies at the Evans School, Gloris co-chaired the Diversity Committee and Partnership for Community and Diversity and served as one of the most active student ambassadors, helping in our recruitment efforts of future Evans School students. One nominator shared, Gloris has been a quiet force at the Evans School. She brings humor and positivity to everything that she does and approaches her work constructively and patiently. Gloris has been exceptionally effective in laying the groundwork for future students to carry on the excellent progress on diversity efforts that she and her fellow students have made this past year. Congratulations, Gloris. Please give a final round of applause to all of our amazing students and award winners.
Next, it is our pleasure to present our 2015 graduating class, consisting of Hubert H. Humphrey Fellows, Ph.D. candidates, Executive Master of Public Administration candidates, and our Master of Public Administration candidates. Kathryn Jacoby, our Humphrey Program graduate assistant, will first present certificates to our Hubert H. Humphrey Fellows. Kathryn?
Thank you, Dean Archibald. I am so proud to present most of our Humphrey Fellows this year. These fellows are definitely going to change the world. Kanwa Ali from Pakistan. Siboni Biva from Namibia. Carlos Alberto Watson Carazo from Costa Rica. Natalie O'Brady from Trinidad and Tobago. Congrats. Vasilios Peftuloglu from Chile. Liana Sahakian from Armenia. And Fadoum Si from Senegal. Congratulations, fellows.
Good evening. I am Professor Ann Bostrom, Weyerhaeuser Endowed Professor of Environmental Policy and Faculty Coordinator of the Evans School Ph.D. Program in Public Policy and Management. It is my honor to present the Ph.D. graduates. First, I would like to acknowledge Jacqueline J. Meyer-Irons, who is not able to join us today, but who graduated this year. Jacqueline's dissertation is titled Risk Perception and Adaptation, Exploring Behavioral Response to Climate Change in Thailand. Committee Chair Sarah Curran. Now I'd like to begin the hooding of our 2015 PhD in Public Policy and Management graduates. Professor Justin Marlowe, please join me on stage for hooding. Thank you. As I call their names, each graduate will come to the stage to be hooded. Ryan Nathaniel Bodani. Ryan's dissertation is titled Think Globally, Act Locally, Local Mitigation Within a Rational Choice Framework. Committee Chair, Craig Thomas. Committee, Mark Miller, Laura Evans, and Neva Stolchak. Should go to Justin. Stephanie Leiser. Stephanie's dissertation is titled Essays on State Business Tax Incentives and Policy Diffusion. Committee Chair, Justin Marlowe. Committee, Mark Long, Pamela Klauser-McCann, and Daryl Holman. Tyler Scott. Tyler's dissertation is titled, Do All of These Meetings Matter? 3 essays concerning the impacts of collaborative watershed governance. Committee Chair, Craig Thomas. Committee, Ann Bostrom, Gerald Herting, and Stanley Tanya Asa. Congratulations to all of our outstanding PhD graduates.
Good evening. I am Professor Justin Marlowe, Endowed Professor of Public Finance. And Civic Engagement, and Faculty Director of the Evans School Executive Master of Public Administration. It is now my honor to begin reading the names of our Executive Master of Public Administration graduates, members of the program's 11th cohort. Kendrick Stewart. Paula Hoffman. Carol Bell Daniel. Tony Belot. Laura T. Bradley. Jeffrey Bungabong. Erica Wurzbach Campos. Jose Eduardo Campos. Pat Castillo. Teresa E. Clara. Craig Gordon Davidson. Sweetlove Loy Dawkins. Kathryn Dean. Amanda Debato. Sarah Kate Duncan. Lizzie Lee Evans. Kevin Daniel Harris. Mary Ellen G. Hill. Kirsten M. Jewell. Mary Wilson Keller. David S. Klipp. Fleur Larson. Jonathan Lloyd Lisbon. Andrew Merges. Kimberly Newber. Terry Peterson. Tyson Pozriton. Miroslav Prope. Hank Turan. Raymond Keith Tamwari. Andrew Vandenook. Congratulations to this year's EMPA graduates.
I am Associate Professor and Associate Dean Joaquin Herranz Jr., and I'll be reading the MPA graduates' names. Chelsea Dambro. Daniel Grafton. Jess Rudder. Zoe True. Jaron Reed. Silas James. Christopher Langler. Kate Delavin. April Sanders. Mutsi Har. Yolanda Hernandez Padilla. Quiles Gonzalez. Carrie Lay. Kelly Williams. Amanda Robbins. Lauren Smith. Courtney Meehan. Elisa Wadlick. Sarah Foster. Timothy Cameron Harold. Wei-Shen Wang. Musa Kamara. Gizachu Manali. Chad Bakulin. Connor Birkland. Douglas Tabor. Eden Tishit. Sasha Nolan. Tony Russo. Jeff Whitehill. Kathryn Jacoby. Lisa Marie Mikesell. Ewan Vivianson. Chen Huang. Nanden. Jin Chen. Danny Tang. Roxy Swang. Caroline Sessions. Ashley Miley. Lucas W. Hall. Kate Fayoro. Jolene Orman. Tammy Lohr. Kayla Schick. Catherine Plimpton. Kathy Blank. Teresa Paulson Greer. Victoria Mena. Adam Vance. Kimberly Latham. Jonathan Nagata. John Gallagher. Sarah Shadi. Sana Sinsta. Jennifer Lynn Malley. Olivia Dooley. Andrew Martin. Vanessa Polanski. Lillian Ballesteros. Christine Antuaco. Benjamin Adrian. Micah Phillips. Alexander Stone. Eunice Chen. Christopher McKinley Clark. Santera Holler. Charlotte Grimes. Elka Peterson Horner. Andrew Desmond. Andrew Calkins. Kimberly Buzdigon. Monica Richardson. Okay. Sophie Sullivan Probsting. Want to take over?
Thank you.
All yours.
Good evening. I'm Professor Mary Kay Gugerty, the Nancy Bell Evans Professor of Nonprofit Management, and I will complete the reading of the graduate names. John Raybar. Monique Miller. April Nilsson. Allison Saperstein. Alexandra Wakeman Rouse. Clarice Estrella. Lawrence Bocane. Katie Kirschner. Daniel Carney. Martha Sassarasi. Lauren Ross. Brittany Alvarez. Chelsea Bourne. Aaron Vetter. Lauren Marquardt. Sam Hoppenimi. Zach Grossnickel. Megan Morris. Yue Dai. Trisha Patek. Lauren Hankey. Mariah Hill. Nikki McClung. Molly Donahue. Morgan Sampson. Michael James McBride. Elijah Seeley. Daniel Ahn. Matthew Harper. Joshua Cole. Sarah Argodale. Zane Bill. Ian Banks. Matthew Reed Lane. Allie Tripp. Eli Shabbat Lieberman. Brian Hutchinson. Karan Javed. Uruj Omer. Eugenia Ho. Tomalin Rupert. Meredith Stillwell. Michael Levkowitz. Tia Erickson. Florence Sum. Lindsay Pasternak Woolpa. Myung Hwan Kim. Andrew Tyson Wong. Jared Hammerly. Ian Griswold. Hannah Bender. Sagar Ramachandra. Patrick Gordon. Angela Liu. Philip Bolson. Heather Lewis. Sarah Abramovitz. Rachel Roberts. Alexandra Gramps. Amy Ansher. Alicia Teal. Elise Zhang. Kathleen Hatch. Allison Kilkenny. Amy Weber. Kathleen Shirtleff. Andrew Overmeyer. Daniel Farmer. Christopher Wally Wright. Join me in congratulating this year's class of Masters in Public Administration graduates.
We're not quite done. We're not quite done. You have one more step. One more step. Tonight marks the beginning of a new relationship for you in the Evans School, a relationship we've maintained with our graduates for over 50 years. We expect to see you at our alumni and other school events, and we look forward to supporting you throughout your career. Armed with your Evans School degree, experience, energy, knowledge, and enthusiasm, as well as the desire to serve, we know you will challenge and lead in this new environment. Audience, before I present our graduates, we ask that you please remain in your seats until all of the graduates, fellows, and faculty have left the auditorium. And when we are complete with our ceremony, please join us in the reception for a lobby. Now I ask, what did I say? A lobby for the reception? A reception in the lobby. See, we're all ready to go. Graduates and fellows, would you please stand? Please stand. As I say the following words, please take your tassels and move them from the right to the left side of your mortarboards. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Evans School graduating class of 2015.
It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright.